Hey, welcome back to Cafe South Asia. We've got with us the great Maqsood ul Haque. Remember from last week? Well, he's full of information and he's full of music. So we've given him a special double episode. With him here with us is our friend Russell, accompanying him on guitar. Welcome back to Cafe South Asia.
Thank you, Shane.
It was a real pleasure having you the last time, and I'm sure it's going to be a rocking time having you here again.
Okay.
So on the last episode, you gave us an entire lowdown about this, about your first band feedback and the first album feedback, and you did so many beautiful songs for us. But then later on, while we were chatting, you did tell me that you left that band. Why did you leave feedback? It was doing so well, you know.
Yeah, I mean, importantly about feedback, we had quite a few seminal records. I mean, these are amazing. We had in 1990 an album called Mela, which is probably the only song after Tagore's Esho Hey Boishak, which is about Bengali New Year. And this was a song, Mela. It became a monster hit. It still is. I feel very proud of the fact that I wrote, composed, and sang the song. And today in Bangladesh, it's part of the New Year's Bengali festivity. I mean, you cannot think of a Bengali New Year without that song. It's there. So Mac is alive every Bengali New Year.
It's like Old Lang Syne and all.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Years, yeah.
So it's become, so it was very well. And then the year 1994 was very important in the Bengali calendar because it was the beginning of the Bengali era 1400. The year 1400 started. So all the great Bengali poets, from Tagore to Nazrul to all the great before us, they had written brilliant poems, brilliant articles and stuff about what 1400 is going to be looking like. But unfortunately, again, typically Bengali, we got locked into really the date. Is it going to be 1994 or is it going to be 1995? So while this went on and on and on, really what happened, there's no tangible record of anything. There's no first day cover, no postage stamp, there's no sculpture, art. I mean, look at it. I mean, you have a Millennium Dome in London. Yet the Bengalis couldn't even fix up the date, so we missed it. And I knew very well that we're going to miss it. So we created the album, and we called it the Bengali Era 1400, Choddo. And this was an amazing album. We worked very hard, the whole band, we worked very hard. And by the time we finished that work, starting having an inwards change. I went through a spiritual phase. In fact, I still am not out of it. I'm still very much into it. It started around about early or late 80s, 90s, and I started my association with the Bauls, you know, the rural rustic community from Bangladesh, the agnostic people. And the patron saint, Lalon Shah, became a part of my life. And I grew up with his ideals, belief, and I became a part of the community. And in 1996, between 94 and 96, for 2 years, we did an album called Bauliana. This is the first recorded Baul folk fusion album from Bangladesh. And what happened really was, you know, we moved from one segment of the audience to yet another. And that was like very planned chaos on my part. I said, this audience, the urban audience, has had good music until, 1994, and I really wanted the music from the heritage itself, from the village, where almost 90% of our population live, their music to be heard in the city on our terms. And this was like a shock for the rock, you know, snobbish crowd, which we had cultivated.
Which you were a part of.
Which I was a part of. But I knew. So in 1996, we didn't have, we were like, it was like big boo-boo for us from the Dhaka-based urban fans, and you know. But we were starting getting a lot of feedback, you know, hundreds and thousands of letters coming from villages, little girls, boys, you know, because they're getting to listen to their music, which is again our music.
You can relate to it, yeah.
And they're hearing it in a new format, in the rap, rock, jazz, rock, fusion format. So this was a big. So what really happened was it became within Bangladesh a cross-cultural thing. On the one hand, the rural Bangladesh started getting a taste of rock music in the village. So when they heard feedback, Mac or whoever, they got curious about other bands. So the market became bigger.
It opened up, yeah.
It opened up. And about a year I came up with this new album called Praptobashke Nishiddo, which in English would translate to Banned for Adults.
For adults?
Adults. The reason being, there was such a lot of strong political songs, and I didn't spare no one. From the religious extremists and fundamentalists to our politicians of all colors and shades.
Did you serve jail term?
I did, for another reason.
I'm just joking.
So all of this thing put together, it became a huge issue. And the last big thing happened was the major producer who was supposed to market the album, I handed him the master, it's going to be released in the next 2 months. He pulled the carpet out under my feet. He said, it's too strong, you got to change, drop some songs.
Everyone's afraid to release
stuff
like that.
And
which was the best song that you wrote in this political album? Which is the one you feel was the strongest?
I think basically, see, when you're talking of 96, today we're talking about, it was way before 9/11, by the way, and today we're talking about Islamic extremism and fundamentalism. Well, fundamentalism, extremism, as far as I'm concerned, this is not got nothing to do with religion. I mean, fundamentalists, extremists are sick people. And there's no such thing as a Muslim terrorist or a Hindu terrorist or a Christian terrorist or fundamentalist. They're insane people. When there's a people who think, the respective gods would be very happy if I slaughtered you because you were Christian or Armenian. Or you thought my God would be happy because he slaughtered Mac, he's a Muslim or agnostic or whatever. And these are insane mindset. These are lunatic fringe. We've got to understand that. This is very important. All this clashes that are happening between recently Islamic terrorism, all kinds of terrorism we're talking about. It all boils down to the fact that we're dealing with people who are insane.